Hey folks, this is Christian Ballard here at Let's go, get on base.
And it is Friday. It is the Christian Ballard show here at Ballard Sports Media, episode 3 coming at you today. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you're listening on Spotify, I believe we were unable to get um, episode 2, or was it episode 1 uploaded? But we're basically redoing episode 3 because the other day I was talking, I went back to hear it, and I don't know what it was that, like, I just didn't have the audio. But hopefully, I'm gonna check this out real quick, go to YouTube, and we're gonna make sure that everything's set up perfectly. So, um, but again, I hope everyone's having a great start to their weekend here on a Friday. It is May 9th, 2025. I don't like that mirror my camera thing. I'll change that. Let's see. We'll give a quick audio check real quick. Testing 1, 2. Sounds good. Sounds really good. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. If you want to be part of the show, please hit that call-in link, that StreamYard link. That's all you need. You don't need a phone. You don't need a number. It's simple. I see you in the back room. I put you on, and we can talk some college football or NFL or basketball or whatever. Not that I'm the biggest expert in basketball or baseball, but um, I try. I, I I do, but I am an expert in football for sure. So there's that. But today we want to talk about two things: Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers, most likely. And ultimately, we want to also talk about renewing old yet forgotten college football rivalries. And I'm going to clip that. I'm going to put it up later. I got a couple different rivalries I looked at, but especially with I picked three. Two of them are Alabama rivalries that are old that I think should come back. Um, but there's also one that stands the test of time. It's not annual anymore because the Big Eight is no more. You also have, I mean, obviously, a team went to the SEC and a team went to the Big Ten. But that being said, I mean, and I'll reiterate this when we get to that subject, but I don't think rivalries have to be in conference. I really don't. I mean, if you have enough passion for the game and you have enough passion to dominate your opponent, no matter who it is, if you play on a regular, I mean, there's a lot of out of conference rivalries. I say a lot, not as many as there are in conference, but like Clemson, South Carolina, we would never take that away. South Carolina used to be in the ACC. Clemson has pretty much always been there, to my knowledge, and uh, but South Carolina now in the SEC, been there for a very long time. You wouldn't take that rivalry away because they're out of conference. Same thing with Florida, Florida State. Same thing with Georgia Tech. Trying to think, oh, is there like a Big Ten, Big 12 type of rivalry? Well, like you got now, okay, and I think they did take this one away, and I could be wrong, but correct me. Is the Civil War still happening with Oregon, Oregon State? Well, Oregon's in the Big Ten now. Oregon State's still in the Pac-12. Anyway, we'll get to it. We'll get to that subject. But first, we want to talk today about Aaron Rodgers, a man of steel. Yes, that's right. I said it. Uh, I don't know if I necessarily uh, mean it in that way, but 'cause he's definitely not invincible. He has had some injuries here or there, but I will say that the rumors heating up about Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers, according to Peter Schrager, NFL insider, are really heating up, but still nothing has been set in stone. That's what makes this interesting. When I look at Aaron Rodgers, first off, how would you define Aaron Rodgers? I don't think he's a bad quarterback. Now, he's had some injuries as the years have gone on, but he's still like it's not I don't think he's a washed up quarterback. I really don't. I think he's got potential. I think he just needs to be with the right franchise, with the right guys around him. And maybe that's saying, okay, he's systematic. Thing is, it fit so well and it worked out in Green Bay. He did win Super Bowl 45 over the ironically the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was MVP there. He's a four-time NFL MVP. He's a four-time All-American, or not All-American, but All-Pro, I should say. All-Americans more so in the college world. Um, Tennessee fan joking in the comments. Still dating my cousin. Uh, Probably not like you are. I don't know. Anyway, back to Aaron Rodgers. He's first team All Pac-10 back when he was at Cal. He's a two-time NFL passing touchdowns leader in 2016 and 2020. I mean, dude, 2020 was crazy for Aaron Rodgers. Like, you talk about that team with Green Bay. You talk about not winning at all because Tom Brady and the Bucks knocked you out in the NFC title game. I mean, that had to have hurt, man. Um, oh, anyway, he does have NFL records, a couple of them. He does have a single Caesar passer rating. Nothing, I mean, he has like percentage type NFL records, which I can't really do the math on all that, but like he has like the lowest interception percentage in a season at 0.3. He's got the career touchdown interception ratio at 4.3 to 1, which I don't, again, some of this, I don't know what it means. Like, he doesn't have like the all time scoring or passing touchdowns or anything like that. He's more of the weird statistic type of guy. Um, but anyway, I mean, he got drafted. He got drafted 20 years ago. He's been around a little while. He's always on the Pat McAfee show every week. Um, Maybe he's been on with guys like Theo Vaughn. I'm not sure, but he's kind of going up in the media world a little bit. Just kind of traveling around, doing some podcasts, stuff like that. Just talking about his career and everything and what he wants to do. He's kind of closed back a little bit too. But Aaron Rodgers, man, is he a man of steel? Can he fit with the Pittsburgh Steelers? And that's what I want to hear from you guys on. We got a few people watching. I love and appreciate that. Call in using that StreamYard link. Let your voice be heard. Would love to hear from you guys as far as that goes, because I view Aaron Rodgers personally. I just think that, you know, I do think he's a good quarterback, but he's had some injuries as the years have gone on. Is he injury prone? And that doesn't make a bad quarterback necessarily, but I think that there's definitely some concern when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. So um, I'm going to block this Tennessee fan in the comments. This is getting stupid. I don't want that over here. Anyway, Let's check out this article talking up Aaron Rodgers today. Man of Steel. Is he going to the Pittsburgh Steelers? We got to talk about that a little bit. This is from PennLive.com by Nick Farabaugh of PennLive.com. This was actually posted an hour ago this morning. So this is pretty recent. So it's not like I'm backing up a few weeks or anything. But he says, and I read this article in quote, there is no secret handshake or under the table deal between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Blow this up for you guys. There's no secret handshake or under the table deal between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, according to NFL insider Peter Schrager. Schrager detailed the entire process between Rodgers and the Steelers, saying Rodgers has been truthful and upfront with both teams about his issues, and he would not decide for a while. In addition to that, the Steelers and Rodgers remain in constant contact with one another, but they still have no more of an idea than they did at the NFL draft on if he will actually sign. Who says this? Schrager said on the Pat McAfee show, Aaron Rodgers has been very upfront with the Steelers, and he was very upfront with the Giants. The Steelers are willing to wait. I don't think there's this assumed handshake deal. They would have announced it and would have signed him. And I don't think Pittsburgh knows more now than they did before the draft. And then Rodgers had some stuff to say. You know, he said weeks ago on the Pat McAfee show that he's working through some personal issues and cannot commit to the Steelers or any other team until they were resolved. He added that throughout the process, he has informed the teams of all of that. And he said, and we quote here, I am trying to be open to everything and not specifically attached to a decision. I'm not holding anyone hostage. I've been up front from the beginning, and I don't mean any disrespect to anyone on the team. I'm just going through a lot in my personal life that has to take priority. I don't think it was fair to the Steelers or anyone while I deal with a lot of things off the field. The people that know, and the people that don't make up expletive. We could guess what word he said about me. So there's that. So we've heard both sides of the story. He's dealing with some stuff. He wants to continue playing, but at the same time, for Aaron Rodgers, I would not be surprised if maybe he has not publicly said what has happened with him and the Steelers. And maybe it's all good conversation, right? You can still have positive conversation and him say, I'm just not ready to sign yet. You know, the Steelers might want him, right? Or whoever wants him. They say, we want you, man. Come play for our team. Come be our franchise guy. You say that. But then Aaron Rodgers might be saying, hey, I'm dealing with some mental stuff right now. I'm just going through a lot. I'm going through the motions. I'm just trying to figure some stuff out. You know, the Steelers want Aaron Rodgers, and I guarantee you Aaron Rodgers wants to be in Pittsburgh or somewhere. He wants to continue playing, I'm sure. I doubt he's ready to retire. Um, but the question is how long of a break? If he is trying to take a break for his mental health, which do that, man, that's very important. But how long of a break does he not necessarily get, but how long does he need before he's ready to say? I mean, we got a couple months till August. I mean, we got 3 months until the Hall of Fame game and everything. So, I mean, hopefully he can sign by then, like sometime over the summer. Maybe not. Maybe he signs midway through the season. I don't know, but he's obviously in a position where he's got to figure stuff out on his own time, and we wish him the best of luck there. By the way, the Steelers have 3 quarterbacks on the roster already. When you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and did they just drafted, who was it? Will Howard, I believe. Um, so there's that. But when you look at their quarterback depth, it's pretty good. Will Howard, Skylar Thompson, Mason Rudolph, um, out there. So, but there's still like trying to figure out where to go from here. Um, so I don't know, man. I feel like the Steelers are in a position where they want a veteran. Like they want to win now. And it's not that they don't trust guys to step up. Like let's say, okay, do they draft Will Howard for nothing? No, they don't. But they're not ready to start him year one, day one, stuff like that. They want to let him sit for a year or two, right? Behind a veteran like Aaron Rodgers. But it's not an urgency issue that they need to go after this guy. I don't think, at least. But they're waiting on him. They are waiting on Aaron Rodgers to say he's ready to get back to football and he's ready to sign and put pen to paper. Anyway, don't forget, if you want to be a part of the show, you can hit that StreamYard link. Would love to have you guys on. We'll take calls. You don't have to be on camera like me. We just need your audio. But it's up to you. We got a few people watching, so I love and appreciate that. And with that being said, uh really only had two topics today, but hopefully this one takes up some time here and we could have some deep conversation on it. You look at college football, you look at big time programs, you look at big time rivalries, you look at big time everything. But that's kind of what we want to do today. We want to look at some big time rivalries, echoes of glory, renewing the old yet forgotten rivalries of college football. And I don't think when it comes to rivalries, there's a certain checkbox that has to, like, I mean, there kind of is, like, it's got to make sense overall, but it's not like, oh, it better be in conference only and they got to be in state, and that's just not true. If it had to be in state, number one, you want to have the big games that we love today, like Georgia, Florida, two different states, Alabama, Tennessee, two different states, Penn State, Ohio State, two different colleges in two different states. So I think that you have to overall, what makes a rivalry fun, what makes it unique is that it's personal. You get down to it. And there's at least three that I came up with, and I'll admit two of them are Alabama rivalries, old rivalries. And then I got Oklahoma, Nebraska, but we'll get to that because I do think a lot of people would agree that Oklahoma, Nebraska needs to come back. I could also throw out like Michigan, Notre Dame. And these are games that like you see every once in a while, and you'll eventually see down the road. But these are the games that need to be played more regular. When I look at it, I didn't really take notes on Michigan Notre Dame, but like that's a huge game there. Um, and I believe we talked with Nate the other day about that game a little bit, but like that's a huge. I mean, you talk about blue blood on blue blood. You talk about teams with blue. You talk about they've met 44 times, which you would think it'd be more than that, but it's not. Um, they don't meet again until 2033 in Ann Arbor. You know, um, they have a trophy coming out that they're gonna have to celebrate that get together in 2033. And by the time they meet, and I'm not here to predict games like that because it's too far out, but I will say that when they do meet in September of 2033, it would have been, let's say, 14 or 13 years 14 years. Because they last met. First off, they first met in 1887 on November 23rd. Michigan won 8-0. October 26, 2019 was their last meeting, and Michigan blew out Notre Dame 45-14. But again, this is just one of the rivalries that I think personally needs to just come back and be on the regular. You know, 25-17-1, Michigan leads. Okay, 8 game difference there. But it is kind of back and forth. It's not like Michigan owns Notre Dame because of some long streak. Notre Dame had to vacate a 2012 win. After that, they met in 2013. Michigan won. Notre Dame won in 14 and 18, and Michigan won in 19. They don't meet on a regular like they should. In my opinion, they should, but they don't meet on a regular enough to where you could justify, well, this team owns this team and it's not even close. If they met on a regular, I guarantee you it'd be back and forth and they're winning at their home stadium every year or something. That's just how I feel. But that's Michigan Notre Dame. I will say I want to look more into 3 rivalries. 2 of them are for Alabama. Um, and then one of them is the Oklahoma-Nebraska rivalry. But again, we'll get there. I ooh, I don't know, man. Like, where do I want to start with this one? Alabama Penn State used to be a big rivalry. And I think if they played today, it would still be a big game. I think you'd get a lot of viewers. I think that you would go into it, and a lot of people would have their eyes glued to the TV, especially the older generation that grew up with the Bear and Joe Paterno and everything. I've been dying to see them get back together for the sake of me and my grandparents, who are Penn State alum and fans, and I have family up at State College, and that I think them meeting would be very special to me because of that. And you guys know I'm an Alabama guy. Um, you look at their history too, and I could pull this up just to show you proof if you don't believe me. But we'll look at some of the results here. They have met 15 times. Alabama leads it 10-5. Um, And when you look at this Penn State Alabama rivalry, they've only met 15 times. They've never tied the series. 10-5 Alabama leads. It was very big back in the 70s and early 80s between Joe Paterno and the Bear just before the Bear passed. They last met in 2011 in State College. They had a home and home there because Penn State came in 2010, and then they met in week 2 on September 10th, 2011, and Alabama won 27-11. They went on to win the Natty that year. That was the same year as the Tuscaloosa Tornado. That was a opener. I see you back there, Justin. We'll get you in a second, buddy. Um, but yeah, we had that 2011 game was 27-11. Alabama had won it, and they had the tornado on April 27th that year. And I think if you go back and find the game on YouTube, you'll find a tribute video in honor of that tornado. Um, a notable game of this series too. I've reviewed the 1979 title game, the goal line stand, when Matt Suhey was a Penn State running back. He lined up at fullback and was stopped a couple times, and then 3rd and goal came, and that's the down that a lot of Penn State fans would argue and say that they scored there. And I honestly, looking at it, I agree. But here's the thing: back then they didn't have instant replay, so you could see there's been some controversy in this rivalry too. It was called whatever, you dealt with what they gave you. Um, so Penn State, Alabama, I would love to bring that back for the sake of having family in Pennsylvania, being an Alabama fan, and everything like that. That's a big rivalry I'd love to see come back to college football on a regular. All right. Justin, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Christian? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Good to see you. I don't know if we've had you on here. Have we? I've seen
Uh,
your.
it may have been a long time ago, but I've since been extremely busy up here and where I live. So, but I do
Yeah.
chance to listen to your shows after the fact for sure.
Yeah. So what's on your mind, man? What you got?
Yeah, so there was just some rivalries. I love this idea of the classic rivalries that have gone away. There, there's a couple that come to mind. Two of them that probably not many people, especially in the Southeast, are probably gonna care much about. But one that obviously in the SEC that I miss is as a Florida fan, I really miss the Florida Auburn game. I mean, before
Yeah.
the conference just handed us LSU as a West Coast opponent every year because of
Who
the
leads who leads that Florida Auburn? Auburn leads at 43, 39, and 2. So
yeah
and they've met 84 times. That's a close rivalry kinda. That
yeah
used to be played annually. I
and
think I've seen some of that game, man. But
yeah
yeah,
Florida
I didn't even think of that.
they're actually for Florida it's the closest SEC school to us. So
Mhm.
that's why Florida Auburn has always been kind of that rivalry back when it was just before the expansion of Arkansas, South Carolina. It was every year, but that is what it is. They've had some barn burners as of late. I know they've had some stinkers, but the
Yeah.
most recent one I can remember is that game in 2019 where you had that LaMichael P. Ryan spill out there. It was kind of the announcement party for Florida that they had something going with Kyle Trask. I think he got clobbered the entire game by Auburn's defensive line, but they were able to squeeze out the win over a big time opponent coming into the swamp. But
Yeah.
but regionally, I live. For those that don't know, I live up in the Cincinnati area. Uh,
Okay.
two of the rivalries that I miss locally, obviously Cincinnati versus UC versus Louisville. That's a game that we just don't get anymore. That was a huge rivalry back in the early 2000s. Both teams in the Big East, Conference USA before that. Uh, there's a lot of animosity and hatred, not only
Oh,
for
the keg of nails. I think I've heard of this one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
The
so it
yeah.
it, it just it meant a lot for the people locally. I know that some professional teams it's carried over the rivalry. You
Mhm.
go way back to even when both teams had an NBA team. Now neither have it, but Louisville Kings and the I think it was Cincinnati Bullets, they used
Yeah.
to play in a big rivalry. So those two cities on the Ohio River, uh, close proximity, about a 2 hour drive from each other. It would have been nice to see that rivalry continue even through all these conference realignments. But now you get one team in the Big 12, you got the other team in the ACC. It's just too much to try to schedule
It
annually.
is. And the thing is like you'll have so like everyone's like 8 or 9 conference games now, right? So like you have that, but you have a 12-week season.
Yep.
I understand that maybe you need at least one FCS and then you need, to warm up before rivalry week and stuff. We see that with Bama, Florida, Auburn, whoever. And then like you have a power four non-con opener, whether it be a home and home or a kickoff game or something like that. But there's still a lot of teams out there that are scheduling these like high school type of teams, these FCS level. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. But do you really need to fill your non-con schedule with that? Like, why not bring back a rival, schedule a home and home, or at least just play them once? Like, just for old time's sake, give us another game. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, Florida, Miami. Okay. Well, I know they're playing this year. Why they're in state. They're kind of close. I don't know, but it's like, why do those have to just be home and homes? Like, why does Florida have like you guys got a really bad non-conference schedule in terms of I'm sure you got an FCS opponent every year.
Yeah. It's Florida State.
Okay. Well, you got Florida State, but you
That's
got
the FCS opponent that we got.
Well, it is now, but but
But no,
still, like,
I agree with you. I think Florida has done a better job. Obviously, it's really hard to schedule because you got you got to go 10 years out sometimes. Like we had Texas on the schedule coming up, but obviously they're in the conference now, so we had to readjust some of those things. But yeah, it's nice when you get to play in-state school, especially a state like Florida. You got UCF, you got USF. You could play at Florida Atlantic instead of playing some weird team like Wyoming or something like that. Why don't we play some teams that way? It's just a fun atmosphere, right? There's alumni that
yeah. I
went to both
wouldn't
schools
call
in the same
I
house.
I wouldn't I wouldn't call Wyoming a weird school because it is a state overall, but I would say, didn't y'all
Yeah,
have like Long Island University or something like
we
last
just
year?
always have
It's so
weird.
it's so dumb, man. Like, what are
Yeah,
you doing?
yeah. I get it. You have to balance the schedule. I think Florida this year will probably have one of the top five toughest schedules. A lot of that is conference weight, but it's
Yeah.
like you can branch out a little bit. I know we have some
Did we lose him real quick? Hold on. Let me see something.
back. I know we play like
Hey, can y'all still hear me in the chat? I think I had some tech issues there. I think we lost Justin. I was trying to share screen and look at the Florida schedule. If we can get Justin back, that'd be great. But he did bring up some good points. We were talking up the rivalries and stuff. Um, and I mean, they got Miami on here for 2025. They got LSU. Those are rivalries. Those are good. Texas, not so much a rivalry, but it's there. Georgia. But anyway, I bring this up. Let's see. We got Justin back, I think. Uh, yeah, we got you back. You good?
yep, just bad internet signal around here.
Hey, same here, bro. But yeah, your non-conference schedule outside of Florida State, LIU and USF. Now USF I could give you because they've given us some trouble recently in
Yeah,
Alabama, but but LIU, like, that's your opener, like, and Billy Napier, probably wants to see fans in that stadium. No, you guys are gonna blow the gates off of them. You're gonna win like 50-7. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you should,
yeah,
but that's not like no one wants to go to that. No one wants to see that.
no,
I'd rather like I could get scheduling of the group of 5 outside of the Power 4, but there are better options, I think.
yeah. I definitely think so. I think it'll get better. You'll see it here in the next few years. I know Florida's got a lot of Pac 10, Pac whatever they are. I guess they're all in the Big 12 now. So
See, that makes sense. 2026 Florida Atlantic. That makes
yeah.
sense. I could roll with that.
Well,
How
we
about
still got
2027?
Campbellville on the
Yeah,
schedule there.
South Alabama and Charleston Southern. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not trying to downgrade South Alabama. They got a good team too, but I mean, it I guess.
I don't know if they bought out because I know they had Arizona State on the schedule, they had Pittsburgh on the schedule, they had Notre Dame
Yeah.
on the schedule, Texas. I don't know if they bought out of some of those matchups or what the deal is,
I
but
have no idea, but Alabama hasn't bought out of any. Because look at ours real quick. We got like Georgia Tech. I mentioned earlier was a rival of Alabama. They're coming, and we're playing them in like 2030. We're playing at Georgia Tech. We also host Notre Dame. We go to, or they come to us in 2031. But like these next few years, like we go to Florida State, we host Wisconsin. We're going to West Virginia, hosting Florida State next year, going to Ohio State. I mean, there's a lot of good quality competition there. I don't see that necessarily with Florida, and I'm not saying any of this to downgrade them or nothing, but
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, but here's one thing. Well, at least under the Nick Saban era, how many of those are actually home and home games? Because
That Alabama has? Well, they're pretty much all. I mean, like Florida State's a home and home. West Virginia is going to be a home and home. Wisconsin this year, we went to Wisconsin last year, so um, West Virginia is a no, it's not. Well, yes, it is. 26 at West Virginia, 27 they come to us. Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. Um, yeah, Alabama always travels in their home and home first, so lost Justin. He's got that Florida man internet, is what he's got, man. He's got that Florida man internet. Like the power, like I don't want to wait until bowl season to get these matchups. Like I love seeing them in a bowl game. That's fun. I don't want to have to wait around for that though. I just don't. Like regular season, if you plus it helps with strength of schedule. You know, you're always talking about strength of schedule for teams like Alabama. Well, they don't play anybody outside the SEC. They don't have much competition. Well, true. That's fair. I'll give you that. But you can help that if you schedule more Power 4 opponents. You can do it. Good to see Vic, Tennessee fan, in here, and Justin came on for a bit. So yeah, shout out to you guys. I love y'all. I'm appreciate you guys for showing up. Now, what's Auburn got? Non-con. What the? Now they're scheduling in-state teams, kinda. But like, what is this? Look at Auburn's future schedules. Look at this. Now, again, I know we're looking years into the future, and a lot of this could change and stuff. I'm not here to make predictions. I'm just here to show you what they have currently. Baylor, Baylor, that's good. Um, Southern Miss, Jacksonville State. I wish Alabama played teams like Jacksonville State. I know they'd probably beat them like a drum, but still. But then they got like they don't have anyone major until 29 and 30 with Miami. Come on, man. That's crazy. We need more. We need more.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Georgia, I don't even know what they're doing. Marshall, Austin P, Charlotte, and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's obvious. Oh, They're going after the ACC here. Louisville on the road, and then Louisville at home. You also got Florida State and Florida State in 27-28. Then they got a home and home with Clemson, a home and home with Ohio State, uh, Clemson again, NC State. Oh, they're bringing back. I guarantee you, man, they're going to try to make that Clemson game as often as possible. Hey, it's good, Justin. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for coming on. So yeah. Anyway, talk about these rivalries. We talk about some of these games that need to come back, some games we need to see more often. I don't know, man. They got to figure it out because, man, I just miss the good old days of football. I miss those old school rivalries. I just do. There's games I wish I could have been around for. I wasn't born till 2001, so Kentucky, Indiana, interesting. He says in both football and basketball. Okay, I got to see this. Is it close? Kentucky versus Indiana football rivalry. I don't want Reddit. Hold on. The Bourbon Barrel. Maybe I have seen this. Yeah. They haven't met since 2005. I've heard of this though. The Bourbon Barrel. Yeah, this is that game. They haven't met too many times. 36. Um, Indiana leads 18, 17, and 1. Ooh. And if they did play again, it would have to be in Kentucky. It would have to, because last time it was in Bloomington. They have to go to Lexington now. Here's a list of college football rivalry games. I'm back. Chicago, Michigan. No one cares. I mentioned Alabama, Georgia Tech. Um, Auburn, Georgia Tech. Maryland and Navy. Baylor, Texas A&M. Haven't met since 2011. Now keep that in mind because that's when that was A&M's last year in the Big 12 was 2011, and they came into the SEC the following year and beat Alabama with Money Manziel. But the Battle of the Brazos is Baylor, Texas A&M. They first met November 30th, 1899, when A&M won 33 to nothing. A&M basically owns Baylor. They've met 108 times. They haven't met since October 15th, 2011. 55-28 the score, A&M. They lead the series, A&M does 68-31 to 9. The largest victory A&M won in 03, 73 to 10. Good God. The longest win streak was 13 from 91 to 2003, and the current win streak currently for A&M is 3, 2009 to present. They had a 3-game series. Well, no, it was annual up until 2011. It looks like it was. Baylor had won in 04, 08, and had not won in 04. So they had a tie in 1990, but other than that, before that 04 win, it looks like Baylor won in Waco in 1985 on October 19th. So they had to wait a while, man, like 20 years. Georgia versus Athens Police. It's talking about rivalries. Georgia versus Athens Police. Hold on. Kansas, Missouri. Yeah, let's see that one. That's mm, the border war. Oh, the border war. Yeah, 120 meetings have not met since 2011. Yeah, you bring up Kansas and Missouri. That's a rivalry that I want to see come back. The border war. Share screen this. This is Wikipedia, which again, I don't always believe Wikipedia, but 9 times out of 10, they usually are pretty accurate with college rivalries. But this is the border war between Missouri and Kansas. Multiple sports. In football, they first met in 1891. They did meet in baseball this year on May 6th, just the other day. They do meet this year in football on September 6th, which I think I knew that because I think I've done a Missouri team preview already. But I did not realize it was much of a rivalry. I mean, I kind of knew like I know they're really close in state, but they who leads the football? That's basketball. We want to get to football game results here. Largest Kansas win was 32 points in 1930. Largest Missouri win was 48 points 4 times in 69, 78, 79, and 86. The last meeting in football was 2011 on November 26th. Missouri won 24-10, and they lead the football series pretty close, 57, 54, and 9 with Kansas and Missouri. Missouri leading the football series. They've met 120 times. We need to get that. We need to get that back. They got a home and home coming up actually this year. Missouri and Kansas. It's at Missouri this year on September 6th, and next year on September 12th in 2026, it'll be at Kansas. I can roll with that. What about what are some other good ones? Texas A&M is back. What's up, Raul Havana? Cleveland has agreed to retire Sanders' number after he makes a practice squad. When are they going to retire our numbers, man? Like, why can't Colorado retires Hunter and Sanders' numbers? Uncle Lou's been begging to get his number retired. They haven't retired my number yet. This is insane. They're taking forever. They don't even talk back to us, man. I don't know. Yeah, Pitt and West Virginia played the backyard brawl last year. They played this year too, I think. But we did miss that for a little while. Backyard brawl. West Virginia and Pitt. Uh, let's go to the football one. Pittsburgh leads 63-41-3. They've met 107 times. They're on a one-game win streak. They have won 15 in a row before from 1929 to 1946. Met 107 times, I mentioned. And it doesn't look like they have anything coming up this year with it. They met 3 years in a row, though, as if it was. I mean, I think they renewed it, I guess, but I don't see a date for this year. But let me check. I guess either team's schedule, but FBS Conference ACC Pitts. Let's see. At West Virginia this year. It's back, at least for this year. It doesn't look like they have anything scheduled with them until 2029, so you'll have to wait another 4 years for it. But this will be the fourth year in a row they've played it, and this year will be at Mountaineer Field, West Virginia. So what else we got? What else we got, guys? What other rivalries can y'all think of? Clemson, Georgia's not annual, but um they got a home and home coming up, I guess, in like 2029 or something. Justin wants to know, is West Virginia or not West Virginia, Washington State and Washington continuing? I hope so. The Apple Cup, that's never been taken away, I don't think. Apple Cup. It's annual. Yeah, they're still continuing it. They met last year, Washington State. Let me see. Washington State won 24-19 in Seattle. Washington leads the series 76-34-6. They will meet this year on rivalry weekend. It looks like. No, they won't. I'm sorry. I take that back. Forgive me. September 20th, they'll meet. You would think it'd be on rivalry weekend. It probably should be, but I know Washington, I think they like to play Oregon that weekend. Then you got the speaking of, what about the Civil War, Oregon? Let's see. Mm. It says that it'll continue through this year, so that might be uh is this it? It'll be on September 26th. It'll be in Eugene at home for the Ducks. If y'all ever have suggestions for the show too, let me know what you guys think I should talk about. And I'm always open to taking calls and stuff too. I think we're fixing to get out of here. Yeah. Yeah, run out of stuff to talk about, man. We've talked about a lot of rivalries today, which is good. Um, I mentioned Alabama, Penn State, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Alabama, Georgia Tech. We talked Auburn, Florida a little bit. Penn State, Pitt should come back. Now, who leads this? I think Penn State leads this 53, 43, and 4. They've only met 100 times. They have not met since 2019, which was a 4-year stretch. I don't think they have anything scheduled with each other. It doesn't look like Penn State or Pitt has anything um, scheduled for each other. Interesting. I would bring back Penn State Pitt. So anyway, kind of want to go for 3 more minutes, maybe an hour long show. I don't know. I've run out of stuff to talk about. Y'all feel free to call in. I could drop that link one more time if you guys want to hang out, but um, otherwise I'll give it a few more minutes. Mhm. Yeah, I'll always take ideas too for the show. Whatever you want to hear me talk about. I try to grow Twitter and everything too. We're over 1,000 followers, which is good, but like I need to come up with like ideas on there and see what the people want to hear me talk about or talk about with me. Doesn't a Mississippi school refuse to play Southern Miss? Probably. What Mississippi school refuses to play Southern Miss and well, Ole Miss. Ole Miss. There's a whole video on it. That's like 19 minutes long. But why? Why won't they play? Well, One Man to Beat put this out a few years ago. Ole Miss should never play football in Hattiesburg. Hmm. It has less to do with the prospect of losing than it does with the cutthroat world of college football controversial series with Memphis to the proposed Southern Miss series. I don't want to read all this. I guess there's been some fights or something. I don't know. Obviously, they probably don't get along, Southern Miss and Ole Miss. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know, man. Yes, we made it to an hour. Made it to an hour. We've talked about everything, man. But I'm probably going to get out of here. I got some stuff to clip, man. We brought up some good rivalries today that I want to clip and put on the channel. So I'll probably do that. Also, let me see. I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out when I'll do the next show at Mayhem. We're keeping in touch about it. We wanted to do tonight or last night, but then something came up, and I asked him about tonight, and it's Friday, so it's wrestling night for him. Anyway, I love y'all. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. God bless, and we'll see you next time here on the Christian Ballard Show at Ballard Sports Media. Hey folks, this is Christian Ballard here at